Hello, everybody. It's good to see everyone on this beautiful Thursday evening. I hope everyone's ready for book club. Hi, Zen. Hi, Mira. Hi, Kay. Good to see everybody today. I hope you liked my space vibe lo-fi. Hi, Purple. Hi, Sev. Okay, oh, my boys are acting up already. Dobby, go lay down, please. Stop eating the blanket. Go lay down. Yeah, good boy. Sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna see if the girls are ready, and then I'll unmute myself. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Thursday. It's good to see everybody. I'm very excited to talk about the book. Yeah. And as you can see in the upper right hand panel, we got some beautiful panels going on from the book. So I'm very excited. Looks like everyone's ready. Okay. Hello. Hi. How are you guys? Good. Oh, they can't hear you. Okay, now say hi. I'm sorry.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Sorry, I had them muted. My bad. I was like,
Kylie actually doesn't want us to talk.
Yeah, actually, you're correct.
Gaslight us into believing we're having a book club with everyone right now.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to the book club on the same page. That's the name. I'm gonna get it right the first time one of these days. I'm determined. Zed says I accidentally say ass and yeah, that's actually their canonical names. That's actually what their names are.
That. Ass and cat.
Okay, that sounds like a crazy day, but at least you got to chill. At least you got to chill today. That's at least nice. I don't like days that are not how I plan them. Mandatory days, briefing days like that. No, that doesn't make my heart happy. Okay, should we introduce ourselves? Because no one knows who we are. No one knows who we are.
So, am I ass or cash?
Cash for sure.
That's a good question. Oh, what?
I'm cash?
You're cash money.
Wow.
Yeah. Cash money.
Oh, and I'm just ass. Okay, great.
Yeah, because you got that ass. What do you mean?
Wow, what are you trying to say, Kylie?
We all know I don't. Don't
Ashley,
patronize me, Kylie.
No one on stream here has seen you in person. They don't know.
They can tell by my energy. They're like, no.
Your energy.
No, she doesn't.
Energy.
She's got pancakes. That's what she's giving.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now they know. How they know? Man. How would they know?
Yeah.
It's that sound. How would they know?
They just know.
Wow.
Okay, well, my name's Kylie, Tille, Stress Limazess. I have so many names. I don't know how to introduce myself anymore.
You wear so many hats, truly.
I'm telling you. Jeez Louise. My pronouns are they, she, and I don't know. What else do we... Oh, fun fact. I'll do a fun fact. We haven't done a fun fact in a while. Fun fact about me. I don't know. Hold on. I didn't prepare. I didn't prepare at all.
Why did you start that?
I know. Why did you do that?
I got it. Fun fact about me is that I unironically really like the Kissing Booth movies, even though they're really toxic. I really like them. Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's a fun fact.
Really?
I like them. I think they're fun. Mainly because I like Joey King. I think Joey King's cute.
No, you don't.
I think Joey King is so cute. What are you talking about? No. What do you mean? Have you seen all three? Have you seen all three?
No.
I've not seen the third one.
Okay.
I gave up after 2.
Okay, listen.
I've only seen the first one.
Listen. 3 is good. It's good. All of them are great. I love all of them. You have no idea what those are? Then you should watch them. You would definitely hate them.
No, don't watch them. No. There's so much better things you can do with your time.
Jacob has never seen them, so we watched them. I hadn't seen the third one, so we watched all of them. And now every time there's a scene, spoiler alert, there's a scene in the kissing booth where what's his name? Jacob Elordi. That's his actual name. I don't remember his name in the thing, but where he slams his hand really toxically on the car and says, "Get in the car!" You know what I'm talking about? He does that.
Yeah.
He screams at her.
I watched it like so many years ago.
And so he slams his hand on the car. He's like, "Get in the car, El! Get in the car!" And now Jacob and I do that every time we get in the car.
That's ridiculous.
Just people watching like, wow, that's just so sad to see.
Yeah. They're like, wow, what a toxic couple. Oh my God. Are they okay? Oh my,
They're both
jeez.
named L. Oh my God.
All right. So that's me. That's my fun fact. That's my introduction. No one here has met me before, so I know everyone needed it.
No, welcome.
Yes.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I love when we always have a beat of silence. It just brings it together.
I'm Cass, aka Cassidy, but Kylie's lazy and only says Cass.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But she, her, fun fact. Oh, Jesus. Kylie, now why would you start this?
I haven't done a fun fact in a while. I feel like we need to give the people a fun fact. You have so many fun facts.
Okay, Kylie, please share. What are my fun facts?
Cass is really talented at any arts and crafts, really. And Cass showed me a blanket that she made, and it was so impressive. And she hand sewed a blanket using t-shirts, and I think that's really impressive and cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. My fun fact was going to be that my hands can sweat on command.
Perfect.
Man.
I think both those fun facts have the same energy, actually.
Craft and sweaty hands.
They're sweating right now.
Perfect. No notes?
Yep.
No notes there.
Thank you. I bow. All right. Ashley's turn.
Okay. I'm Ashley. I guess now I'm Ass. I go by she, her.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just did an icebreaker for work. So this is the one I said for work. I've swam with sharks before.
Wow.
What kind of sharks?
Pretty impressive. They were just like white
Baby
tip,
shark.
black tip, like
Doo.
reef sharks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fun fact about those kind of sharks: they like to snuggle together when they
Aw.
sleep. They sleep together.
Cute.
Yeah. And like I swam over. It was a crazy reef. Like there was just like a pocket in the floor of the reef,
Mhm.
and like because the snorkeling guy like pointed and he's like, look, that's, and then he told me, he's like, yeah, that's where they all sleep. They like to snuggle. I'm like, what? That's so cute.
That's literally so cute. What?
It was so cute. So,
I love that.
Oh, and their skin feels like sandpaper.
Oh.
Yeah. You
And
think
they
they're
snuggle
smooth
that?
and they're not. Yeah.
I wonder if they're like really sticky and grippy when they snuggle because of all that friction, you know? They're like, they don't go nowhere.
Ew.
Yeah. Like we have assumed the position.
It's for safety.
For safety, yeah.
Yes.
Cuddle puddle, might you add?
Yes.
Like a Velcro cuddle puddle.
I know. Sticky.
Okay, shall we get into the book, friends?
Yeah.
Okay, so today we actually do have a slideshow in the top right-hand corner here
Whoa.
of our favorite panels from the book. None of them were like spoilers, really. So I thought I could just put them here to loop while we're looking. As you can see, the art's beautiful. This is a graphic novel, and it is called On a Sunbeam by Tille Walden. So we're going to go around. This is the non-spoiler section. So if you've never read this book before, we're going to give a brief introduction. We're going to go around, give our thoughts and opinions in a non-spoiler way. And then we're going to rate it out of stars, 1 through 5. 1 through 5.
Oh yeah, 1 through 5.
Yeah. Okay. So really quick, just so if you've never read this book before and you're like, wow, that art looks really cool and I like gay shit, guess what? This is the book for you. If you like space, if you like gay shit, if you like found family, if you like adventure, this is the book for you. Super fun.
The four of those really go hand in hand.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And I will say that this book does... Oh, I forgot to do trigger warnings. I'll do that in a second. But I'll verbally say some trigger warnings. So some trigger warnings for this book would be family trauma. I would say abandonment. I would say some violence. There's some violence in here. If you're like, hey, I don't like violence, there's some violence. And it is, drawn. So just keep that in mind. Am I missing any? I think that's really it.
Uh-huh.
I don't think there's anything else crazy in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm going to read the little synopsis of the book and then we'll go around. A restoration crew travels to the deepest reaches of space, rebuilding beautiful broken structures to piece the past together. Wow, that was a hard sentence to say. Two girls, and then so that's one timeline. The other timeline is 2 girls meet in boarding school and fall deeply in love, only to learn the pain of loss. And those are the 2 timelines interwoven in this book, and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go first. Since it was my pick, I will go first. You got it free to read on her website? That's amazing, Purple. I'm so glad you got it free. I know a lot of people got it also from the library too. So that was also nice. Okay, so my overall thoughts, I actually like this book a lot better than I thought I would. I was not very optimistic. Because how you guys know how I am with sci-fi. Yeah, so I picked a book I wasn't sure I was gonna like because I don't like sci-fi very much. And I knew everything was space and sci-fi. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna not like this book. I have a feeling. I don't know, because I don't know if you gals remember, you guys tried to get me to read another spacey sci-fi webcomic.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
Space
Oh yeah.
boy.
Yeah. That's what it's called. And I couldn't read it. It was too much. I was like, there's a lot of sci-fi in space.
The kissing booth.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. And your point is, Cassidy? Right.
I don't know. One is art.
Subjective. That's what art is. Yeah, so for me, I actually really like this book more than I thought I would. I actually love this book.
Whoa.
And I know. I love this book a lot. The art, I'm a sucker for really good art, and I'm a sucker for really good storytelling. And I felt like the pacing was really good for me. It felt like it was definitely broken up in sections that were very easy to distinguish. And then I also really liked, I think the biggest point about this book for me that I liked the most is I loved how Tille Walden used her art to tell a lot of her story. It was very much a look, don't tell. Show them, don't tell them. Something like that, which is also used in the film industry, where they're like, you should always, if you have the opportunity to show something rather than just explicitly say it, then do that. And I feel like she did a really good job in this, and that kind of won me over. Yeah. So my overall score for this book is actually 5 stars. I'm giving this 5 stars.
Wow.
Yep. I know. I shocked myself too.
I feel like you've yet to not give a book 5 stars.
I'm easy to please, I will say.
I think one of them maybe got 4.5.
Yeah. No, 2 of them got 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah, last night at the Telegraph Club, not Telehealth, Telegraph Club got 4.5.
The Telehealth Club.
And then the book that I was too stupid to read got 4.5.
You were not too stupid to read it.
I felt like it.
I'm also thinking about a telehealth club now. Can you imagine like everybody sitting like at a bar with on a laptop with like their therapist, and it's messy.
That's Gen Z core right there.
Mhm.
All right. I think Ashley should go next.
Okay. I was thinking, I was like, I think I also give this book a 5-star.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah. I liked, like you said, like she, I feel like sometimes with comics, it's like this one will take over more than the other. Like the storyline is the main focus, so the art is kind of lacking, or the art is really pretty, but it's kind of like, okay, it's just art, you know? But I feel like this was a good balance of like a great story. And like you said, like her art is really good, and there's a lot of times where she just let the art tell the story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Well, yeah, no, like piggybacking off of that, agreed that with stuff like this, it is either, I feel like it's either story or art. It's kind of like, it's like how I view horror movies. Like,
Yeah.
I don't enjoy like graphic horror jump scare stuff because they do that kind of stuff at the sacrifice of a plot line. And, or you get the plot, but not the actual, like, if you want to actually be jump scared. So,
Yeah.
I did enjoy the art. I thought it was really pretty, and I know that we'll get into this, but I liked all the use of color, and like I did enjoy the art a lot, but I did feel like the storyline was lacking a little bit more, and that like it just felt very surface level, and because you couldn't get as much depth. Like there were lots of very interesting ideas presented throughout the book that I'm like, I want to know more about that, but you don't really get that like roundedness. And I also love when a story like jumps around timelines, but in this case, because it's a graphic novel and you don't get as much depth through the words, I feel like it made it hard to get to know the characters in each point of this storytelling. Like I don't feel like I knew the young Mia very well. And then the broken upness of it made it hard to like feel attached to these different characters. So I think,
it's like it's more of like in the moment, and then it's like you get a flashback of like 1 year from school, but right, it's like it's very in the moment kind of story.
Yeah, but again, I really liked the artistic element of it, so that redeems the storyline a little bit more for me. But I'm gonna give it like 3 stars, I think.
Okay, so you're actually in agreement with Purple here. Purple also gave it 3 stars.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I can see your perspective on that. I can see your perspective, absolutely. And again, this book was surprised me that I even liked it that much. So I completely can see how you could want more from this book. We'll get into it. I don't want to spoil it. Is there any other non-spoiler things you guys want to say that might convince people to read this book? Or I don't know, advise people against reading this book, maybe? Have different expectations going into it? What do you think?
I wouldn't try to discourage someone from reading it if you think it's interesting. I mean, it's not like it's going to take up too much of your time. So
Yeah, it was a fast read.
Very true.
I probably would, if you're skeptical, read it online though, rather than this is heavy. It hurt my hands to hold it sometimes. But yeah, I wouldn't dissuade anyone, but yeah. If you're looking for like depth of plot, I don't think you'll find it here.
Okay.
But if you're looking for a interesting, cozy story and some pretty art, then this is that.
I actually disagree for me because I think the plot was very dense, but I think it was very nuanced, very, very, very new. Like
this was.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, that it was. I think there was a lot of interesting concepts to it that weren't able to get fully discussed.
Yeah.
I'll go into it. I'll go into it. Okay, so
here we go.
Ash, wait, before we move on. Ash, you rated it 5 stars. So
yes.
What any recommendations for people who you're like, absolutely read this? Anything?
I just really enjoyed it. You know, I was like, I will say, because the art really, I loved the art. I loved the okay, you know how like you watch Harry Potter and you're like, I want to go to Hogwarts. I felt like that with the boarding school. I was like, I want to go to this school. This looks so cool. Like, I don't know. I was very immersed in the world, and I really was like, oh, this is a really cool world. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. That's what my rating was kind of based off of, like,
okay,
how much I enjoyed it.
Which I feel like is very valid. Yeah, absolutely. Both points very, very fair.
I also I felt like I was satisfied by the plot. I think Cassidy brought up some good points. I also think I wasn't. This could also just be a bias because I don't really normally pick like a graphic novel. Like I would watch. I think I just wasn't expecting too much. You know what I mean? From a plot, but I think it's just because it's a graphic novel, which I feel like is very like judgmental. But that's how I kind of feel. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's pictures are doing most of the talking, you know. Yeah. And I feel like that's the same, like the stuff that I've read in webtoons too, is kind of like there's not really too much there, you know. Except for Space Boy, but
I was gonna say
I haven't finished Space Boy though.
I don't know what happened to that. I feel like he went
I think he went like he took a hiatus. Yeah.
I have not checked if it's back or not. And I was gonna say I was agreeing with your statement on that I'm like, yeah, that is just kind of the nature of a graphic novel. And so maybe I was a little too judgmental on what I was expecting from it. Given that this is like the first graphic novel we've read in book club, but it's also like the first graphic novel I've read in print.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, me too.
So
both of you. Okay.
I was like, despite like you like holding a physical book, you expect novel, and this is just not that.
Right.
But as soon as I was thinking like, okay, maybe I was too judgmental, and it's, you know, that's just how a graphic novel is, and it's not going to be able to get as in depth with a storyline and detail. But then I was like, but you know what? Space Boy did. Space Boy had quite a complicated plot, and it was, I feel like, very rounded. So if any, go read Space Boy, people. Read this one too if you want, but really read Space Boy.
I don't recommend Space Boy, but
no, I recommend Space Boy too.
I don't recommend it, but if you want to go for it, go for it.
Kylie's credentials are also that she likes the kissing booth.
Right.
I also like other things. I also like other things. Okay, just keep that in mind. First of all. All right. Anyway, we're going to.
Kylie has taste.
Okay. I do. I do. I just like some trash stuff, okay? And I
It
admit that it's
happens.
trash, all right?
It
I admit.
happens.
At least I don't watch like Love Island or something. Come on.
Roasted.
Everyone who watches Love Island right now in chat is like, what the fuck? Just roasted me in my reality TV. No, okay. So before we go into the spoiler section, I want to say that, and this goes for us and chat, just a reminder that just because we have differing opinions does not mean that anybody's wrong. That's the beauty of it, is that it's an opinion. And don't feel like you guys have to change your anything. Change your opinion on it, change your rating, whatever. Because what other people like might not be what you like, you know? So don't feel like just because, you know, I really liked it or Cassidy didn't like it that you can't like something or you do like something. You know what I mean? Just a little reminder, because sometimes y'all be wildin'. So I just want to put that reminder in there for y'all. Not you guys, not you, but chat. Chat be wildin' sometimes. So, yeah. So we're going to go into the spoiler section. So if you have not read this book and you're like, I'm interested to see why Cassidy hates this book, or I'm interested to see why Ashley likes this book.
I give it 20 stars. Why are you saying you hate it?
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But if you want to see what all the hubbub and fuss is about, or you are looking at the pictures over there and you're like, well, the art looks really interesting enough for me to want to try it, I recommend trying it. I recommend reading it. Check your local libraries first, of course. Help out your community. If you don't want to buy it, definitely do that. Or look online. It seems like she has a free version or a available version online as well. So use your resources. Don't waste your money. And yeah, now we're in the spoiler section. So, boom. So if you haven't left yet and you're like, I haven't read it, but I don't know, leave. Leave if you don't want to be spoiled. You have 30 seconds of ad break to leave. We'll wait till the ad's done. Sorry, friends. 30 seconds to leave. Get out of here. We don't want you. Just kidding. You can stay if you want to be spoiled. I'll let you. Just this one time. By the way, did you guys notice the backgrounds? They're from the book. It was so easy for me to pick the backgrounds today because they're from the book.
Oh, I see now. Look, that one was just that picture. Oh wait, except for I'm looking at a delayed.
I know. I like it. I feel like it fits. Like, 'cause it's like, oh, we're looking out the window. It's like we're in the book.
Yeah.
It is.
We're
Like
in the
book.
school.
We are in a fish ship.
Oh yeah, we're in the ship.
Fish ship.
I love how all the ships were fish. I love that.
I loved it.
That was interesting to me. The mechanics of that.
You know what that reminds me of? I just thought about this. Atlantis, the movie Atlantis, where all their flying stuff looked like fish.
Oh, yeah, it did actually, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so anything you guys want to get off your chest before we hop in? Anything?
I don't think Grace should have gone.
I don't think so either. I was like, oh, she was totally gaslit and like, no, I just totally almost died and my friends are probably dead, but you don't have to come. You don't have to. I mean, I just... And she basically said, like, I mean, I kind of have to come because you did this.
I think she probably felt some pressure too. And like, not to like underestimate anything about them or their relationship, but they were 14 years old. And they become, you know, a lot changes in that time. And to just like show up and be like, hi, it's me, and I'm here to rescue you. I was like, what is happening? And she was working on her play.
Yeah.
Granted, there's some sketchy going on the staircase.
Yeah, I was about to say, you know, I mean, there's not a lot besides her, you know, family being there. I'm not a huge fan of the freaking staircase because what the fuck is going on in there?
It's giving cult.
Yeah. Yeah, it
I
is.
was also like, I was just confused by the staircase, and that was one of those things where I'm like, I feel like we could have dove.
Yes.
Okay, can
I know. What is this religion that prays the staircase? I want to know about that.
I feel like we could have gone more in depth with this staircase, and I feel like there was some stuff left out of that left me like kind of disappointed to be like, this is interesting. I wanted to know more about the staircase and not as much about the rescuing Grace thing.
So can I say what this reminds me of? And why I have no issues with this? Because this reminds me of Studio Ghibli films. Because Haya's like Miyazaki, and notoriously in all his films, especially all the fantastical ones, he doesn't explain shit. He throws you in and he's like, here it is. You got to deal with it. Now, the difference is that one's a movie and one's a book. So the medium is a little different. It's,
Yeah.
You see things moving around. But especially in his latest movie, The Boy and the Heron, you don't know what the fuck's going on. You know what's happening in there. And you're just thrown in, and you don't know how the magic works. You don't know how the world works, but it works. And you're like, okay, well, this just works, and this is just how the world is, and this is just, I'm just in it. And he never explains. He doesn't explain what anything is in Princess Mononoke hardly at all. His messaging, right? Like you get his messaging, like when he talks about like his anti-war messaging, or his, when he talks about environmentalism and his messaging, or feminism, like you get the message, which is his point. And I feel like that was what this was trying to do. It was like, the point of the book was not necessarily to explain and dive deep into this fantastical world. I do agree with you, Cass. I think maybe it could have been done a little better. I would love to have just like maybe a bunch of pages, even if it didn't have words, we could just kind of see other things from other timelines. Like I would love that. I think that would have really added to that for sure. But I think for me, I was okay with it because as I was reading it, I kind of just like accepted it and was like, this is basically watching a Ghibli film, because that's how it feels when you're watching a Ghibli film to me. Because like Howl's Moving Castle, what magic? She just sticks his heart back in his chest and she's like, all right, you're better. What? What's happening? There's time shit. You're like, what the fuck? What's going on? You don't know. So that's why it didn't bother me. I do understand why. I do get both of y'all's points of like, I would love more detail. I would love more explain, because that makes sense. And I think for me personally, that's why I didn't have issues with it. But you were saying,
and this point, this point makes sense. Yes. That I think a lot of the understanding of this book is implicit in your interpretation of the artwork, and that's kind of the point of it, is that it's a different form of media to consume, and it's not going to be like a novel or like a movie. And so I think part of it is just learning how to read graphic novels, and so that's just not something I have a ton of experience in. But with the whole, I agree with your point on the Studio Ghibli stuff, and that nothing ever makes sense in those movies. And sometimes, honestly, they're not wonderful stories. I'm talking about Ponyo. I can't.
Why the fuck? I knew you were going to say fucking Ponyo. I knew you were going to say Ponyo. I knew that was about to come out of your mouth.
I can't stand Ponyo. Ponyo causes so much shit and gets away. She floods the fucking city and then it's like...
I still have not seen that movie. The only time
because
I watched it was I fell asleep.
Ashley picked this movie to watch and then fell asleep, and I had to deal with the repercussions of that. No, Ponyo is just not worth it. Anyway,
I laughed the whole time. You're watching that movie because you would wake Ashley up and be like, Ashley, wake up. This is the movie that you wanted to watch. It's just
Anya never has to deal with the consequences of her actions, and what kind of lesson is that teaching children?
Oh man.
I can't. Anyway, there are other really great Studio Ghibli movies.
Just not that one.
Just not that one. The worst. And the reason, and yes, nothing ever makes sense in Studio Ghibli movies. And the reason that I'm okay with that is because the characters are convincing enough to like, because it's not about the fantastical world. It's about the characters in it, and it's about lessons that they're learning. It's just set in this fantastical world to make it fun and silly, because it also just makes it like throws you into this fictional world, and that's what I like about fiction. One of my peeves is when people will, when consuming a piece of fiction, will be like, it's just not realistic. I'm like, what?
Right.
It's fiction. It's because it's not real. And so I'm totally okay with the fantastical, and I think Studio Ghibli hones into the totally fantastical stuff because they have these like real life lessons that you're learning from these relatable characters. So the thing where I find a difference with Studio Ghibli in this book is we have these fantastical worlds that aren't fully explained and you're just meant to be a part of, but the characters were not convincing enough to me to allow for a lack of context.
Yeah. Can I ask
There wasn't enough of like but what's the point? You know, like in fables. I feel like that's what Studio Ghibli really is. Studio Ghibli is really like telling fables. It's like, here's this crazy, wacky story, but this is the moral. This is the lesson you're learning. And I think if that's what we were getting at with this book, I didn't get to a point where I understood what the lesson was. You know, like at the end of this, I'm still kind of like, what's the theme? You know, what was the lesson learned in all of this?
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Absolutely.
What were the main character points that you felt were lacking in this book?
Again, it really just comes down to the broken storyline, and I really like broken storyline, and I think in the story that she was telling,
like the two timelines. I'm just clarifying for my own.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
And I think with the kind of story she was telling, like there's not really another way to do it besides like a broken storyline and the like jumping back and forth, because it allows you to like gain context on what's happening. Right. In the present, because it's directly relating to the past when they can put them back to back like that. But I feel like not enough happened for me to like, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like there wasn't a lot of growth.
Get connected. Yeah.
Like
really?
Like Mia, for example, it's like we go back from when she's 14, and then you would expect, like, I was kind of expecting her, like, I feel like there was no difference in
it moves very fast.
Present. Yes, there was no difference for me. There was no difference between Mia as a 18, 19-year-old to 14-year-old Mia. Like they act very much the same, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
interesting.
I think we sorry, go ahead and finish.
I was thinking like same thing with like how she acted with Grace in school. Like she was very like, I don't know, like, I'm your friend, do this with me, you know, like helping Grace get out of her shell in school. But then like when at the end, when she went and got her, I was like, oh, this is just like how she did in school. Like Grace was like, leave me alone. And she goes, hi, I'm at your room. Are you coming to the dance with me? You know, it's like, it's kind of like the same thing, you know? It's like
No, and
we didn't really think about. We're not really thinking. We're just doing.
yeah,
Could
no, I think
go ahead.
well, I think young Mia had a lot more character than
Mm,
older Mia did.
yes.
Like there's a lot more
Yes.
personality. I feel like I understood her and like what kind of person she was more. But then moving forward to the ship when they're traveling and stuff, I'm like, okay, well, what exactly brought her to this decision? And like I feel like I didn't really know who she was there besides a person
Right.
that's like still reeling over the loss of this person from when she was 14. And so then I had a hard time being like, okay, so what's your motive? Like
Right.
why do we need to risk our lives? And so I her crewmates, I was like, they're just ready. They're just
I
ready to
know.
go. What? And it
I think
happened so
also
quick. Like I had
yeah.
to go back and forth on that page when it's just like, and that's why I think I should go rescue her. And I was like, wait, what? And I got
Yeah.
really confused in that transition. I'm like, hang on, did I skip pages? So it was that part. I feel like that it moved really quickly, and maybe if the pace and that was just slowed down a little bit more, even with filler, because I feel like some of the stuff in young Mia's life was very much just kind of filler. It wasn't related to the plot, but it gives you
Yeah.
context to the characters, like dressing up and going to the dance and having this cute little dream of them like floating in space. Like it's very much just fluffy filler stuff, but it provides a lot of context and a lot of like convincibility to the characters. And I think that's what I was missing in like older
Yeah.
Mia, is there wasn't like, if we had just like slowed down that process of like, okay, and now I'm going to go rescue my best friend, and filled it with a little bit more like character development with that filler stuff, I would have felt a little bit more convinced on this mission of like, why are we doing this,
Yeah.
and what's the point, what's the lesson.
I wanted to piggyback off of you remember the slide too, because I was confused also how they were so on board and they were like, well, were you really sad? And it's like, no, I was actually really happy, like, because that was like what, her freshman year? And then she's like, yeah, the next couple years, like, I made friends and I had a good time and I joined the whatever team and I was sad every once in a while. And they're like, yep, we're gonna go risk our lives. I'm like, oh, because I was also like, are you? Yeah, I was like, this whole time I'm like, she is just so depressed about Grace. And then there was like that
Yeah,
one slide. She's like, no, I was fine. I'm like, oh,
actually life moved on.
right. It's like, oh, but we want to. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to add that little tidbit because that's where
Yeah.
I got thrown off about the mission when she was like, yeah, I was fine. And then they're like, yeah, let's go do this. I was like, wait. So if we were fine for like 5 years, why all of a sudden do we have the regret and the urge? And it's like, right, like, I feel like she could have really also animated that too, where, like, yeah, I was fine, but it was like maybe, I think, put more emphasis on like that regret, because I feel like she didn't, because I feel like I got confused, because I'm like, how are we fine and then not
Yeah.
fine all of
No,
a
no, I
sudden?
agree that there's a bit of a disconnect between that for me to be like, yes, like obviously things didn't end the way she wanted to with that, and not getting to actually say goodbye to Grace. Uh,
Yeah.
but then for it to be like a sudden, okay, I need to go to this scary planet and say bye to her, and like not I and I they went through the whole thing when they actually reconnected. It was like the point was not to rekindle anything. It was just more so like
Yeah.
catharsis or closure for Mia. But uh yeah, but I there was a disconnect in between like who they were as kids and why this needs to happen now.
Yeah.
I really loved Grace's character. I would love a whole like,
Mhm.
she's so sheltered. She's definitely like, you learn about that in school, like round versus flat characters. Like, despite being kind of a main character, Grace is very flat. Like, she's very much a closed book.
Yes. I feel like same with Jules. Like,
Yeah.
my two favorite, three. It was Elle, Jules, and Grace. Like, I could have had a whole,
I feel
2
like
or 3 chapters of just Grace, just Jules, or just Elle. Which is
I loved Elle.
yeah.
I feel like we knew more about Elle than Mia.
Yeah. But I wanted more of Elle. Like,
yes, Elle is.
I feel like,
Elle is
yeah.
fun.
I feel like Elle, I was a little upset with how things, because it was like this whole time it's like they don't talk. They, went through this horrible thing on the staircase, and it's like, and it's also just adding to the staircase, like, craziness, and you're like, I want to know more about the staircase. What happened to Elle? And then we did get it, but I'm like, oh, it left me wanting more. I'm kind of like, oh, no, I want more of that. What do you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Kylie, we've been going back and forth for a while.
I know.
Have the floor. Have the floor.
I was just listening to you guys talk. I have differing opinions, so I was listening. So, and Purple says this too, that the characters didn't grow, and I know you guys also said that. But I would like to argue that I think some of the character points you guys are pointing out is like things that kind of go with you until adulthood, like stubbornness and hard-headedness and impulsiveness. I feel like everybody still has those character traits, and it's hard for me to articulate what I want to say. I think that the point of Mia is that she doesn't know who she is. And I think the point is that she is supposed to be a shell of a person, because she is 19 now. So, I mean, like, if I look back when I was 19, I'm like, I don't know who the fuck I was. I don't know who I was. I was a very different person than I was at 19 than I am now. And I think what is interesting about Mia's character as the protagonist, because she's supposed to be the protagonist, which she was not my favorite character as a protagonist, I will say. My favorite character was Jules. She was my absolute favorite. But, and Elle, I also loved Elle. I agree with you guys on that. Very good. But I think Mia is honestly supposed to be, and from what my understanding, Mia is supposed to be like this more so blank slate. And we're supposed to see her. Now, whether or not the what is the word I'm looking for, writer does this in a successful way is, I think, very subjective to like how much detail and how much you want from it. You know what I mean? Because like for me, I understood what Mia was going through, and I really because hold on, I'm trying to go through all your points. I was really trying to listen so I could think of all the points you guys were saying, because you guys were making great points. Really, really good points, actually. So we were talking about the disconnect between Grace and Mia wanting to get Grace now. And I think it all comes down to decisions. And I think it goes down to almost like a thought spiral, if that makes sense. So like for me, I think the vastness of space is what, because you see her stare a lot into space, which I think is interesting. And a lot of Mia panels, she is like either looking up or she's looking out into space. And I think it's because she is a deep thinker and she's very introverted. And I think because it's a graphic novel and we don't get her inner monologue, I think we're missing a lot, if that makes sense. I think that we are missing a good chunk because we are seeing it from an outside perspective instead of from first person, and instead of inside her brain. And I think that's where part of that disconnect comes from. Because for me, I can see that thought process of being like, I was really happy, because it's like with any breakup, like I moved on, I was really happy, but I'm still in love with them, or I still want closure from this relationship, or I still regret my decisions. And it's the thought process of, if you could do anything to either change your decision or find closure in a situation you really want to, would you do it? And I think Mia acts on that and is like, this is something I have to do. Right. And I think also part of that is like, I'm in a point in my life, and you guys know this about certain situations in my life right now, where I'm like, this feels like something I have to do. And I think that's why I was able to really just kind of understand it, even though it wasn't well detailed for me, because I can understand that thought process of, this is just something I really have to do in order for me to heal, in order for me to move on. And you did say, Cass, that it wasn't like about rescuing, but it was about like getting her closure. And I do think a part of that is selfish. I agree with you, Ashley, because Ashley said it. I do agree with you. I think a part of that is selfish. And that goes back to Mia's character flaws of like, she's always been this kind of selfish person, which I think makes her a very complex character to an extent, because again, we don't have her inner monologue. It's kind of hard to kind of picture that. But she is very like in tune with herself. And I also want to state that I also think that Mia being white and Grace being a person of color is very important, because you can really see the dynamic of that in this relationship. Because Mia's very like, how do I say this? Mia's very like, I want what I want, and I'm a little entitled to it, and I'm gonna talk over you and it'll be fine, like blah 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 blah, you know what I mean? And she needs a lot of growth, especially when she's 14. Right. She has very like, and she's rich, her family is wealthy. She goes to this really fancy private school. They kind of mention it at the beginning. So, she's like this, little rich white girl go into this private boarding school. And you kind of see that, she goes to the fish and she like crashes the fish, and she, steals stuff, and she, breaking and entering, and, it's very like these things of like, she doesn't understand the world's boundaries within herself. Or she doesn't understand herself within the world's boundaries. That's what I'm trying to say. Whereas Grace is very much like a rule follower. I just thought that was a very interesting choice, because I do think that choice was very intentional with them. Because that is kind of like what interracial relationships are like, is like one person is very aware of the world and the atrocities in it, which I kind of feel like is the staircase of like, it's very tumultuous, it's very hard, it's very, you really have to be scrappy, and you have to really like watch out for yourself, and you really have to prioritize people that you love, versus being, Mia kind of is sheltered in a way, because she is in a rich boarding school, and she is able to even with all of her even with all of her things that she does, she still is able to like go through school and not be suspended, and Grace does have that also, but it's because they're scared of her family. It's not because they respect her. It's because they're scared of them, which I think is very important. And so I don't know. I think I'm trying to remember all the points. What else did you guys say? I
don't know. I think those are good points. And I think Grace and Mia are definitely sort of written to be foils of each other, because I think Grace being so quiet and kind of just, I'll figure it out on my own, very much it allows you to see Mia as being impulsive and loud and maybe a bit entitled much more, and great. And then Mia being so loud and out there showcases those opposite qualities in Grace very well. But you know that what was Kylie, what you said about Mia being not understanding her boundaries within her world. You know who that sounds like to me?
Who?
You know.
No, I don't.
You know.
No, I don't.
It sounds like Hanyo.
You know what? You know what though?
Oh my god.
I see the similarities. I see the similarities. I can see it. I can see it.
Yep.
Well, do you guys want to?
I think maybe this is my inherent issue with the character of Mia, is that really she's just a Ponyo archetype, and I'm not here for it.
Oh man.
Okay, well, you know what? I do want to jump into some questions. I would love to, because we've been talking a lot about the story. I feel like we need to talk about the art, because I think that's also a very important part of this book here. So let's talk about it. What did you guys think of the art style? How did you guys think it matched the story, the tone? Did you hate it, love it?
Loved it. I loved it a lot.
The thing is so Kylie sends us all of these questions about the book after we've read it, for the most part, or nearly finished. And so then it's like, what do you think the colors represent in the artwork? And I'm like, fuck, I wasn't thinking about that the entire time I was reading this.
Sorry.
And so then, like, within the last 20 pages of the book, I'm like, okay, she used purple here. What does that mean? But I liked it. I think my favorite art was at the panel stuff with the storytelling is fun, but my favorite was I had two parts that I liked in her art. There was the one with like the whole blossoming of Grace and Mia's relationship. Like we know how this happens. They're 14-year-old girls at a boarding school. They're going to go on silly adventures, whatever. That doesn't need to be told to us. We know that their relationship is going to develop. And so that entire chunk is told like strictly through pictures. Like it's 20 pages of straight illustrations.
Yeah.
And I liked that was done, because it's kind of like, you know, in a book when like a very complicated story happens to the character and then they meet with another character and the character is like, what happened to you? And then they just go, and then this person told their story, or they like talk about, you know, in some way they say that this person told the story. It does not need to be recounted, because we knew what happened. In this case, like, we know that this relationship is going to develop. We know where this is going. We know that Mia's going to go look for Grace. Like, that's the whole point of the book. So I'm like, it felt like that done through illustration, which is something that, like, in a non-graphic novel is something that you don't get when it's like the implied storytelling. It just skips past it. So it's kind of cool that there's like implied storytelling in the Grace Mia connection, but they just did it through art instead, which I think was a very pretty way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Purple. I agree with you. Purple says you can hang any art on the wall, and it wouldn't look out of place.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
It was all very good. And I liked the paneling at the end when they're on the staircase and each kind of like contributing their separate storyline to the adventure that's happening on the staircase. And so I liked the like split paneling, and that it was kind of confusing to understand at first, but how it would do, it was like, it's very much how it's done in a movie, where like every 10 seconds it's jumping in between scenes to make sure to tell you that this is happening at the same time. These two stories are happening simultaneously. And the way that like it did it on the page by being like, okay, here's what Elle is doing right now, and next panel directly down, here's what's happening with Grace and Mia, and that like back to back to back was like very exciting to read. And that was like the only time in the book where I was like, ooh, okay. But I really liked I liked the speed of that. It was a neat way to do that. Because I feel like, I don't know, maybe I have the wrong interpretation of the author, but it's like they were seeing this storyline through a movie, but like illustrated it instead. And I think that whole like split paneling stuff at the end really showcases that feature that movies will do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what Purple just said, the board game. I
I
so
no. I want to
I
play that game.
I wrote down besides jotting down the page numbers of the pictures I wrote, the only thing that I wrote down about this whole book is on page 42, and I just said I like the idea of a floating board game.
That's
I
I
love
feel
it.
like the only notes I wrote too was the panels. Also, I'm like, Grace and Elle are my favorite, and also I want to play this game that they're playing. Because then I
Okay.
just kept reading through it.
Ash, what did you think while you're gapping? What did you think
So,
about it?
okay. So I love that the art is simple and complex at the same time. You know? Like when you look at something or like certain things doesn't look very detailed, but because she uses like okay, sorry. I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say here. For example, my favorite picture, it'll pop up, but it's Elle and she's in a wall and it's like she's
That one.
yes.
That was one of my
It's
favorites too.
because like
Me too.
it's funny because when you look at it though, like when you zoom in, you're like, oh, it really like looks like a bunch of scribbles. But when you look at the picture, like when I first turned over the page, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And it's like you know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
the way she uses like the colors and things, like she doesn't have to do a lot to really convey like detail. You know what I mean? Like she leaves a lot for your imagination, and I like that too.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Like I like her use of colors also. I feel like I'm not
You're making sense. You're making
clearly
sense.
okay. But I don't know. I just really appreciated it. I think it was very like effortless, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I just really liked it. I like this kind of style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with both of y'all's points. Absolutely. One thing I will add to that is her use of movement. I feel like she really is able to use like her colors and her panels to really symbolize movement. And then also the white space. There are pages in this book where it's just black and white, which in my opinion was like silent. Like it's like equivalent of silence because there's the lack of colors, the lack of movement. It's just almost like static, if that makes sense. And it really feels that, and it really like I love that because it really contrasts because she has such like a distinct color palette, and then when it's nothing, you're like, oh.
Yeah. No, and I think she uses that very intentionally based on what's happening in the story. Where like when I feel like they sort of it like counterbalances, and when it's less about like what exactly the characters are saying and what's happening and the seriousness of it, when it's less serious and everything, you get these beautiful panels because there's space for that. Because you're not like so overwhelmed by the story part that you can take in the illustrations. But when it really dives into like some dialogue part or a complicated story, that's when it goes to like the basic skeleton art so that the words can come through. And I think that it really counterbalanced that thing really well. And it also, because it just makes it heavier when like when Mia and Grace are having like a serious conversation and it's just like the two of them standing in a white panel, you feel that a lot more than you would than if it were like on this beautiful space purpley orange print. You'd be like, this is so pretty and my eyes like it, but you feel the weight of the seriousness a lot more when there's like no illustration to accompany it.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, that kind of brings us into our next question here about the art. What did you guys think about the negative space, her use of negative space in her art?
Like again, very intentional because I mean, we're in space. This whole thing is like very open, and it's like it's difficult to represent the vastness of space and the unendingness of that within like a confined box on a page. And
Yeah.
I think she does that a lot by like positioning the characters in places within the boxes so that they are much smaller than the space, by like putting them in the corner or like putting them like slightly off-centered so that the space is the main character in the illustration rather than the person, and that makes you really feel like, oh, they're very small in this really big world.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, friend.
Very well said.
The negative space, I think, also just from an artist point of view, because I follow so many artists and have artist friends, that it really shows maturity in your work, because you're not trying to fill every like nook and cranny with like color and shit. You're like, you're confident in your focal points and you're confident in your design. And I think it really shows like just her artistry is just really like, I'm not making sense, but you know what I'm saying.
No, you're making sense.
It's kind of like, it's like the same thing in like therapy, in like allowing space for silence and being comfortable enough and confident enough to just like let there be silence every now and again. And I think her artwork does that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ash?
Yeah. I think so. Like, I also think it was very interesting because I'm just looking at some panels too, just to kind of like refresh. But I also like how sometimes, like especially for the school timeline, is that like how she'll use like crowded, like a crowd or like a lot of busyness, but then it still makes it seem like for example, I'm thinking of like Mia couldn't find Grace, or she found out that Grace was leaving and it was like still kind of like isolating her, but it's also like all this noise and all this stuff, but then it's like she still emphasizes like the feeling like through facial expressions, like I feel alone or like scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
She was making it really busy, but at the same time it was very clear and like you didn't lose focus of what was going on. Like even though like she still used empty space, but then the what do you call them? The panels where they were busy, it's like I still like she didn't lose focus of what that panel was supposed to represent. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought she did a really good job with that. Like you never lost like the story in a panel, Or you're never like, where are they? I don't know where they are. Oh,
Yeah, I get you.
There's a lot of shit going on. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, it's like she had obvious that again, it feels like she was illustrating a movie. Like she saw this storyline in a movie and just drew it. Which would then, because there are some books that people are like, I'm gonna make this into a movie, and you just shouldn't.
Yeah.
Just let it be a good book. Don't ruin it. Because there's so much within a regular novel, there's so much that you can't put into a movie because you don't have that like internal dialogue and all of that detail. You don't have room for that. But in something like this, there is space for that, because it's like we already don't have that internal dialogue or the detail, and so that would be like a much easier thing to translate. So yeah, it really is just kind of like reading a movie. I feel like it's visual art is what it is, and so just kind of being like okay with the fact that you're missing out on detail because it's visual media and not whatever the word for word media is.
So wait, so this was also a question. Do you guys think the book would be more successful as a regular novel? Or do you think it should just be left alone?
In its current state, no. I don't think it's developed enough to be a convincing novel without illustration.
Okay.
I think you'd have to add a lot more to the plot, a lot more of what's implied or interpreted through the art would have to be filled out in the storyline.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think there's.
I think she would.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry,
go ahead.
you go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
I was gonna say. I'm sorry. Kylie, go.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. all I was gonna say was I was gonna piggyback off of Cass and be like, yeah, I think that as right now there is not enough detail for it to be a novel. Maybe if there were more just panels of artwork that could use explaining, or just if there were more like in-depth drawings or more in-depth history about certain things, then yeah, I do agree with you. Or if there was a way we could get the internal monologue, I think that would be great too. But I 100% agree with you, because I think she does really, really, really rely heavily on her art, which is fine because she's a graphic novelist. And that's absolutely fine. But I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. Okay, now you go, Ashley.
I was going to say also, I think kind of what you were saying too is like with the history. And I think if it was going to be a just word novel, like it would have to be a lot of world building, you know, like it would, because I mean, I was just thinking when I was reading this, I'm like, I would be so lost like in just the description of what I'm looking at, you know. It's like I feel like she would kind of have to make a creative decision of like, okay, how much of this world am I going to sacrifice to put it in words where people don't. Okay, has anyone read Dune or attempted to read Dune?
Hold on. If you guys don't come after Ashley for what Ashley's about to say about Dune. I know there's some Dune lovers. There's some Dune lovers here. Don't.
You can come after me. That's okay. That's okay. Because I'm going to say it with my chest.
Okay. But say it with your whole chest, babe. What's that? Hot take.
I didn't finish it. But I do love the movie. But hold on. So I only liked the movie because I started listening to the book and I was like, oh wow, these scenes make more sense because I can hear inner dialogue. But I'm like, if I didn't watch the movie to kind of help me visualize, I would have never understood the book whatsoever at all. And I feel like Sunbeam, the way the world is, would be the same kind of thing. Like if she didn't have the pictures, like I feel like if this story was gonna be in a book, like it would have to be like, right, we would need more history. We would need, like, I feel like, you know what I'm trying to say? It would be a hard world to describe, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or it's like you would describe it and then it's like there would be an audience who'd be like, this is great, and then an audience who'd be like, I didn't get it, I don't understand. You know? Especially because you're kind of coming into the middle of this world where it's like, oh yeah, like we all know a kind of like Studio Ghibli world where it's like assumed everybody knows this thing. Nope, everybody understands. We don't need to explain it. It's not important. You know what I mean? So it's like in a book, that's how Dune is. Dune, the first thing is like, this is Princess Irulan. La 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 la. And then it talks about the book, and I'm like, who is Princess Irulan? What? and she comes up at the beginning of every chapter, and it's a little segment of her diary, and then it goes to the story, and I'm like, and then it wasn't until like I'm like audio listening to it, so it wasn't until like chapter 20 where it's like, oh, I don't even know. I don't even remember. But I'm like, oh, this is how she's sort of related to this character. I think they're cousins. I don't understand. Okay. I don't know why she's so invested in her second cousin's endeavors on this desert island. But okay. Or desert planet. But okay. You do you, girl. But yeah. So that's same kind of vibes.
Ashley, you are me when I read any sort of hard fantasy book. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Listen, here's my take. I'm so sorry to everyone that I'm about to anger. If I open a fucking book and there's a map, I'm closing it. If I open the book and there is a map, if there's a dictionary in that book because you're making up too many words, no. I'm closing the book. I'm absolutely not. I'm not reading the book. Why is there a map? Why is there a dictionary? Absolutely. You can't. There's not enough words in the English language for you. You need to make up a language. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh my God. What, Purple? I said what I said. I have no books with maps in them.
Okay.
I believe that.
I have a different opinion on that.
About the maps? Go ahead. I'm ready.
I like the maps.
I love when books have maps. I think all books should have maps. Because
I agree.
all maps are books if you think about it.
What?
So why shouldn't books have this is a very complicated book. We know this. There's lots happening. And so out of the kindness of their heart, this
kindness. Kindness about this fucking maps.
You can and honestly, here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
If you are reading a book where there's a map at the beginning of it, like how many times do you actually go and look at the map? You don't. It's there for fun. It's there because it's cool and because the author thought about it. So I
would like them to unthink about it. I want them to unthink about it, actually.
I really appreciate that the author has like dived so deep into this world that they could visualize it, and I really love seeing the like tangible product of that over just the plot of the story. Very, very little do I go back and reference the map because you just kind of like you're like, all right, this is the world I'm in. But I appreciate that they provide it. And when I open a book that starts with a map, I always get like butterflies because I'm like, oh my God, this is a new
butterflies because
world.
you're gonna throw up because the maps are not helpful. Not helpful.
Butterflies because maps belong in books.
They don't belong. Get them out of here. I don't want to see them. Rip them out.
So next time, you're getting ready to go on a road trip and you purchase best hikes in Minnesota.
I've never done that before.
And it has maps in it.
I would never do that.
You're gonna throw away your maps.
First of all, I would never do that. I would never buy a book that is solely for maps and travel. Fly by the seat of my pants.
So it's not. So it's a map in general thing. This is a map in general thing, or is this a map in book thing?
No,
because I kind of sounds like it's just a map thing.
No, I think maps are very useful. I love cartographers. Okay, I
Which
think
is
they're
why
very
they go
useful.
In books.
They don't belong in books because I think that maps should solely be on the Google or the iPhone and call it a day. I don't need it anywhere else.
What in the Jen fucking
I don't need it.
Did you just
what do you
say?
No, do not give me a book of maps. I will throw that shit away. I wouldn't throw it away.
Maps are so beautiful.
No, they are not.
Okay,
absolutely not.
You are breaking my heart.
It's my
here.
hot take of the day. All right, I like the fucking kissing booth. I like the fucking kissing booth.
It's too hot, Kylie.
I don't like maps.
You should have a little redeeming thing that says "Stop screaming," so then I can redeem it.
I literally always fucking scream. Why do you think I have a fucking command that says I'm
right? Let me earn it.
Jen, hello. I'm gonna scream more. Hi. I'm not screaming. Hi, everybody. Thank you for the raid, Jen. Hi, everybody. I'm actually very cool, calm, and collected about what I was talking about just now.
Yes. No.
Everyone can attest that I'm not even raising my voice right now. Look, I'm so calm. Hello, everybody. Hi, Mika. Hi, the wolf. Hi, Jen. Hi, Zen. Look at it. Now we're so calm. Thank you for the raid.
Her. She was just yelling at us. Don't believe it.
Listen.
She was screaming at us in the chat. Don't believe her.
Here's a question. Here's a question for the raiders. First of all, Jen, I hope you're having a lovely evening. If you need to raid and run, please do so. I love you very much. Second of all, here's a question. Do you think maps belong in books? The right answer is no. The right answer is no.
You didn't even give them a chance to answer. You didn't even give them a chance to answer.
Right answer.
Hi, Fike. How
Chat,
are you?
you answer honestly.
No.
Chat, answer honestly.
You're going to answer no. Maps don't belong in books. Maps don't belong in no.
We love a map.
Get out of here.
No, don't get out of here. You are welcome here. Don't worry, me and Cass got your back.
We love
No.
maps and books.
No.
They belong.
No.
Yes.
Yes,
Listen.
Yes, the map. Yes.
I see a map. I'm closing the book. I see a map. It's gone. I'm not reading you. I'm not reading it. I refuse. I actually really refuse. You love me, but maps are good? No. Absolutely. What is this? What are these horrible takes?
Kylie,
These are horrible.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong in this situation.
Yes.
Or am
Really, I
I
think
right? Or am I going against oppression? Or am I
No.
going against the
Oppression.
majority?
That's-
Because, yeah, oppression.
That's what cults say.
Oppression.
That's what cults say.
I'm not the one.
Slippery slope.
Listen, I'm not the one that has a fucking paper that I like to read because I like to. Okay, I am free. I'm free of the maps. I'm free of thinking. I'm free of all that. All right.
You're missing out.
I'm not.
You're free of thinking.
Yeah.
That's what they say in cults.
Hi, Mika's mom. I love you. This is the funniest hill to die on. It's a serious one. I'm actually dead serious
really
right
not.
now. The anti-map sentiment's making me sick to my stomach.
Kylie.
Me too.
What?
Me too.
Kylie, it could be
What?
you would be missing out on
I'm
so
not.
many.
I'm
You
gonna be
don't
really
know
honest.
that.
I'm gonna be really
You
honest.
don't know that.
If I have read a book with a map in it, okay, and I've never looked at it. I didn't even look at it at the beginning. I didn't
You
look at
read
it,
Priory of the Orange Tree.
and I didn't look at the map, and I didn't finish the book. So
Well,
there's
I
my
would say-
point. There's my
First of all,
point.
I would say the map really helped me because that book is a lot, and the map helped me
Uh-huh.
a lot. Because I usually
But
skip
did you
over the
finish
map
it?
too.
Did you finish
but
the
this
book?
one-
Did you finish the book?
Okay, listen. I told you I didn't finish that book because not because I didn't like it, was because I didn't have time for it. It was
Uh-huh.
it was a I have
'Cause of
to
the
only
fucking
read
map.
that book. And I'm not gonna suggest it. You know what? Maybe my next pick will be Priory of the Orange Tree, and we have to read a
No!
900-page book.
I was gonna
In
say,
1
I'm
month.
like currently, I haven't solidified my pick for our next book, and I'm about to go through my shelf and pick a book with a map.
Listen, if you pick a book
In
with a
fact-
map, I'm gonna rip the map out. I'm gonna be really
In
honest.
You're not
Actually-
gonna read Mika's book. Her map is,
No.
or their map is gonna have, or their book, excuse me, is gonna have a map in it.
I was gonna no. I think my
Mika,
pick
I
for next
won't read it.
month's book club is just gonna be a
Oh
map.
my god!
We're just gonna read a map.
Read
I'm
a
gonna give
fucking
you.
map? Oh my
I'm gonna give you.
God.
We're gonna read the map of the world. We're gonna read all
From
the
what
cities.
century? From what century?
What about an
Obsession.
atlas?
No!
Yep. Yes.
No!
My-
I'm not
my
reading
pick-
a fucking
My pick for next month's book club is the Atlas.
So guys,
Thank
we're not
you.
having this is actually the last episode of the book club. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you so much for hanging out. We're never doing the book club again. Our friendship's actually over. So many years down the drain. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Whoa! Whoa!
Uh,
Whoa!
Speaking of next month, by the way, Cassidy actually kind of tidbitted some very good picks. We'll announce the next month's book at the end. But if you are just coming in, we are in the spoiler section of this book on a Sunbeam. So if you don't want to be spoiled, feel free to rate and run. Thank you so much everyone for rating. I'm not going to yell about maps anymore. We're moving on for the fucking maps. We're moving on.
Whoa!
Actually, I like Kenzo's idea.
God.
Next month's book club is Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh my. I'm actually going to be not here next month. So it's just going to be y'all straight.
Yes. Me and Ashley start
Yeah.
our own map book club. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Maps of the World.
I was laughing at the comment that was like, last episode of book club, first episode of map club.
Mike.
Yes. Today in Map
Perfect.
Club, we will be discussing Des Moines, Iowa. We are looking at the wonderfully interesting terrain of Kansas.
Right. The only problem is that if we did start a map book club, I would just be a certified hater.
Well, that's okay.
Certified
Well,
hater.
you're not invited. That's
Oh,
okay.
okay.
We would notify
Yeah.
our mods and let them know that you are a hater, and then they will send you a warning, and then they will kick you out. They'll be like, you're not allowed in the Discord.
What's the deal with Wyoming? Yeah, exactly. What is the deal with Wyoming?
We do states that are strictly squares.
Perfect. Next is Colorado. GeoGuessr? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That sounds like my worst ever. Do you guys know what GeoGuessr is?
And then we take everybody on a road trip.
Oh.
See, we have a blast. We have map club. we go on road trip for map club. Everyone's invited except Kylie.
You know what's so funny though about this conversation is that we have D&D, and I have to have maps in D&D, which is so funny because I'm the DM and I give you guys maps all the time.
Yeah. What? Yeah. What?
What? But I don't have a world map. I don't have a world map. Did you notice that?
Your argument is quickly falling apart, Kylie.
I know. I'm like, yeah. Wait a second. Wait a minute.
What do you mean?
You do make our maps. Well,
You mean?
I also don't count those as a map.
Oh, so
know.
now we're nitpicking what a fucking map is. Now we're nitpicking what a map is, huh?
What?
That doesn't count as a map.
I'm sorry, I was trying to help you in your argument. Okay, it's a map. Okay, it's a map. And you're weird.
Keep going, yes.
Map.
No, that's it.
Keep going. What's your point? Yeah? What is it?
What do you mean? I was trying to help you and be like, they're like, never mind. It's like a picture of a room or a tavern. I wouldn't say it's a map, and I was trying to help you because
what I'm hearing is you don't want any more maps for D&D. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Let's
Period.
do it.
No map, right? No map.
there was never a map. There was never a map, so I don't know why you're yelling at me.
Have you ever played those?
Yes.
Have you ever played those games where it's I forget what this one is called. It starts with a Z, but it's this game that my dad would play in the 70s, and he introduced to me and my brother. We would make maps out of it, but it's like strictly type. It's like it's just the like choose your own adventure, but you type it into a little bot, and you're like go west, and they're like you see a canyon and blah blah blah.
Oh.
And it's wild. Zork, yes.
Kay coming in with the Zork.
Zork.
Thank you.
Zork is so fun, and everyone should try Zork. But my brother and I, one summer when we were like, I don't know, I was maybe like 12, so he would have been like 15. We spent the entire summer filling his entire bedroom wall with maps, our supposed maps of Zork, because you don't know what the fuck is happening, but it's so fun. And so I am totally on board for having a Zork D&D campaign. I think that sounds amazing. We make the maps. You know the map, but we don't know the map.
Oh. Actually, we could do that. We could do that.
I'm down. That sounds
We should
so
do that.
fun.
We should do that as a one shot.
Well, so wait, so you're down with
Nemesis. I wrote that down. Nemesis. My name.
Oh, that's a great suggestion, Kate. Those are good games. You know what book doesn't have a map that we need to continue talking about?
I would argue that this entire book is actually a map.
It isn't. Oh my god. You know what?
There is a map. There is a map.
Where?
There is.
Where?
It's in one of their classes when they talk about the zones of space. There's a map.
There are maps. Yeah, I would. What's her name? Shar. Shar keeps very detailed journals with maps. And these illustrations, are these not maps of space?
I don't know. Are they? I haven't seen them. It doesn't show them really.
What do you mean?
Hold on.
The entire book is a map of space.
It is. It is. We don't.
Really
how
to send you this.
How else can you truly map space without, except for an illustration? If you tried to map space, it would simply be a piece of paper. So you'd need illustration. So I think this entire book is a map.
I go back to what I said, that I don't inherently hate all maps. Okay? I don't inherently hate all maps. I want to state that.
Really,
I hate most maps.
You
literally
most
back
maps
on your word.
And all maps and books.
You really are.
I hate all maps and books, but not all maps. If it's a map and a book, I don't want it.
This is turning into a not all men argument.
No, all men. No, all men. You know what? Fine. If I have to choose, all maps are bad. There we go.
All right.
All maps. All maps. All the rotten
you heard it.
apples.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Never ever get into the passenger seat of Tylee's car.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
No, you won't.
It's the Most Lively Book Club. We're
I speak from experience. There was one time where Kylie and I were driving back from Macon, Georgia, in the middle of nowhere at midnight, and she turned. I was driving. Kylie was in the passenger seat. Maybe just don't allow Kylie in your car.
Right.
And she turned, and she had the map, and I was trusting her to get us home, and she turned me head on onto a highway. She turned me onto a highway going the wrong direction.
It was a one-way, one-way highway.
This is what Kylie's hatred of maps will get you.
Yeah, that was so funny now, but not funny at the time.
I was terrified.
I also was at the time, and now I just laugh at it. Glad you're alive. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. To be fair,
too.
they were stopped. They were stopped at a stoplight.
They were, and they probably judged me so hard. I had to do a U-turn in the middle of the road and get behind the people going the correct direction.
There's a map on page 43.
I can't defend myself on there. I can't defend myself on that.
Ashley found the map, page 43.
Hold on, everyone, look at your textbooks. Let me just fucking
turn to page 43.
43. Let me look. Let me see.
Oh,
it is a 3D map. Oh, look at this. Look at this.
How do you feel about future
you
maps?
do see Char's journal on 57.
Okay, hold on. Let me go down.
And 58. More map.
Well, you know what? I blocked that out because I didn't want to read it. I skipped over those panels actually. So.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. I know there's one more map in here.
I skipped over them. There. I actually never read those panels until now. So that means I got to give this book a 1 star. I changed my 5-star review to a 1 star. So there we go.
All right. Well, there it is. And
then the last map is 83.
Yeah, I didn't read that page either.
Wow.
83? There's not another map in the rest of the book. Interesting.
I don't think so. I don't know. I just remembered there was a class where she was like,
the map.
Yep.
I'm the map.
Yes.
I'm the map. Even Dora needs a map. I mean,
that says Dora's a child. Full gremlin. Yes.
You think you're above Dora?
A child
adventures the world by herself with a monkey.
Yeah, I do think I'm over a child, actually. Because I don't know how many times I have to say this on my channel. Fuck those children.
Oh.
Fuck those kids.
Whoa. All right.
Hey.
Put kids to work. Put kids back in the mines. I say that every day, every stream.
Whoa.
Arkansas is doing it right.
More
Those child
to read
labor
the book
laws.
after hearing it has books.
Go to the mines. Exactly, Mika. Thank you. Yep. Chat knows. Go to war. Those children, they got tiny hands. Put them in the mines. Put them to work.
They can't hold a pickaxe.
No, they get their little fingers and they stick them in there. Stick the little crevices. Yeah, go to the factory. Go to the factory.
Right now.
They're gonna stick their fingers in the cracks in the walls and do what?
Guys, actually, in all seriousness, there's so many clips of me saying put children to work. I really fear someone's gonna think I'm being serious. The bit is too much. The bit's too much. Anyway, but I stand by what I said. I stand by what I say.
All right.
Yeah.
Children
have too much free time on their hands. Look at Arkansas. They loosen child labor laws. Children who work at 11. That's what I'm talking about. American made.
All right.
Put children to work on a mug. No, dude. I'll cry. Don't actually do that.
That should be your merch.
Just a child in the mind.
I would buy that mug.
I actually might probably get reported by the ethics board if that were the case.
Might probably.
Would I probably 100% get reported to the ethics board. Be like, hey, actually, there's a music therapist in Minnesota advocating for small children to have jobs in terrible environments.
I'll report you. I witnessed this firsthand.
No.
I have recorded evidence.
No, yeah, Purple. No to maps. That's the mug I want. No to maps.
No to maps. I
No to
do.
maps.
Yes. That would be funny. That would be funny.
We'll have
Highly
like,
boycotts maps.
there'll be 2 different mugs. There's team maps, team no to maps. Whatever mug you choose, it's the team you're on.
A question of curiosity, Kylie.
Yeah. Shoot.
When you play Minecraft,
I don't. But continue.
as you probably did as a child.
I've never played Minecraft actually, but continue.
This is sad. Have you not? Have you really not?
No, I've never played Minecraft. I swear.
Really?
What? What
Are you kidding?
Kylie? No, I've never played that game.
Well, I completely can't ask this question now because I was going to ask you if you used a map in Minecraft or not.
Okay, but
No,
I
haven't done.
I will give you this one. I use the map in Stardew. I do.
Boo! Okay, you're a hypocrite.
I do, but only because I have the NPC locator on and I gotta stalk my wife. That's the only reason why.
You
I
can
do
just follow her
You-
around like a normal stalker.
Yeah,
You
there's.
can do that on Stardew?
Yeah, I downloaded a mod on my computer.
Oh, I was about to be like, how I've been trying to track down people on their birthdays.
Yeah, I downloaded a mod.
I'm fucking following them all around the town with a cake in my hand. Like, Jesus Christ, where it's your birthday, I'm stalking you. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
So wait, so you're telling me that you went out of your way, got a mod for a map? Is that what you're telling me?
I went out of my way to get an NPC
map.
locator. So, like on the map, it shows their little faces
So
on
a
where
map,
they are
yeah.
on the map. Yeah,
Right.
So that you
So
can
a map.
use the map.
I do use it for that purpose. Yes.
Again, your argument is quickly
It's-
torn apart, Kylie.
Right.
Just because, listen, like all things, just because you hate something, sometimes you still have to use it. Like I hate the federal government. All right. But I still use the federal government to an extent. All right.
So
Just-
now we're relating.
I hate bras. All right. But I have to wear them. I gotta wear them.
Wearing
You know
your
what
bras.
I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You see where I'm putting down.
I'm seeing analogies relating maps and bras and the federal government.
Mhm.
And I'm, I suppose they could be.
Purple, yes. Purple says on my mug, it should say no to maps. And on the back, we are lost anyway. Which is actually me. It's actually me as a person. I appreciate that.
That's why. Okay, this
Yeah.
is all making sense now.
I am directionally
This is
challenged.
why Kylie doesn't like maps because she can't fucking read them.
Yeah, actually correct. That's actually 100% correct. I don't know my directions. North, south, east, west. Where is it? Who's to say? No one knows.
So we've finally discovered.
No one knows. Look at
We
me.
finally
Look at
made
me.
it.
Look at me and point where fucking north is. You don't know. If I were to hand you a map and say go north.
Are you kidding me?
don't know
Have you
where
ever
it
looked at a
is.
compass? Have you ever looked at a compass? North is up, Kylie.
I know which way north is. How can I trust that? First of all, how can
North
I
is
trust
up.
it? How can I trust
South
it?
is down.
So many things mess with magnetism nowadays. Okay? How do I know? How do I know that my compass is correctly magnetized? First of all. Second of all, the earth is spinning and time is relative. So
Fair,
who's to
right.
say?
All right.
Who's to
All
say?
right. I'm starting to hate maps. I think.
Good.
I think we've killed this.
Good. Okay.
No.
So moving on back to our book. I would actually love you guys to talk about your favorite characters really quick.
Well, it's not Mia.
Well, yeah,
because-
I figured that.
because
Yeah,
Mia
not
is
Mia.
Ponyo. And we hate Ponyo here.
Mhm,
This is the
mhm.
Ponyo hate club.
I don't hate Ponyo, but I love your visceral hatred for her.
Thank you. Just like I can appreciate your hatred of Matt.
Thank you. See, that's why we're best friends.
Yes, yes.
I bet Ponyo
Um,
uses a map. I bet she uses a map.
I highly doubt Ponyo uses a map. If she had used a map, she would have found herself in wherever her business should have been and not flooding that poor random town that she had absolutely no business being in.
Mm-hmm. So, as you're saying, I'm sorry, your favorite character?
My favorite character.
Mhm.
I really liked shoot, what's her name? Char's wife.
Oh, Alma.
I liked Alma, yeah.
Mm.
It's a really close tie-up
Yeah.
between Alma and Elle.
Okay. What do you like about them? Tell us. Tell the folks.
I think I just liked Alma and Char's relationship. That they kind of, I feel like, represented what could have been a grown-up Mia and Grace, just being two like foils of each other, but complementing well. And I thought Elle was just a very complicated character that I enjoyed getting to know more of their backstory. I thought what a fun choice to have a character that doesn't talk in a type of novel that strictly relies on dialogue. I thought that was a fun choice. And Elle's just cool. Elle just does cool stuff. Big fan.
I
Yeah.
agree. Ashley?
Okay. My hot favorite character is Elle. And then
Oh,
I
yeah.
think Jules is a second. Jules is just, I love a good comic relief. But I also feel like Jules was someone who is like really helped Mia grow somewhat, because it's like, right, like how we talked about how Mia was kind of like a shell of a person, very unsure of herself, doesn't know who she is. But then you have Jules, who is like, knows exactly who she is,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm doing this. What are we, like she's just like very free spirited, like no care in the world. Like she has feelings, and she is, like not, ditzy. But she's just like faces life head on, and I really like that.
Yeah.
She also is just funny. I laughed out loud. There was a panel where she was on the staircase, and she's like, it's like their most important spiritual animal, and she goes, "Biscuits, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry you feel this way, but you need to help me leave now." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And it's like you find out that it's this super important being on the staircase, and she goes, "Biscuits, please help. I understand. I don't. You're having a crisis, but I need to leave, and I need your help. Thank you." It's just
Period.
hilarious. And then Elle, I just also find her like very interesting, and sorry. But what was I gonna say? I also just love how they're just like they're always smiling, and they're just like,
Mm.
I'm here. But they're also a rock. I feel like they're a rock for
Mhm.
all of the characters.
Yeah.
Like Elle is someone that everyone can depend on, and they always come through for them.
For sure.
And I wanted to know what Elle said to Mia.
I do too. I was just about to say that.
I was trying to look at the ends of the letters so hard to be like, okay, what could those be?
Something I would have loved to see with Elle's character is a little bit like, because I get the no talking, but I would love to see more than just a thumbs up from them.
Yes.
Like maybe like a couple, like Elle like knows a couple signs, or maybe like the signing looks different, like because it's maybe like space language. I don't know.
Right.
But like, you know, some more gestures. I feel like I was looking forward to like more gestures. It was a lot of like smiling, thumbs up, thumbs down. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite character was Jules. That's who my favorite. I actually did not like Jules at first. I was like, oh, I don't know if me and this character are gonna vibe. And then we vibed so hard. I was like, oh my God, Jules. And I think that's because Jules also, in my opinion, showed the most growth out of all the characters.
Yeah.
Because we start off with Jules kind of like, my favorite character was the map. Purple, don't make me ban you right now. But Jules starts off very almost obtuse because she doesn't quite want to be there. You know, her mom died. There's a lot of stuff happening with her, and she is just like doing a lot of things begrudgingly. And then you really see the turning point is when she sticks up for Elle, to that lady. And she does this big long monologue and just is so great and so graceful and passionate. And you can just see like the love and care that she has for everybody. And I just think like her growth as a person was just very, very like direct, and we could really see that. And I feel like she was the protagonist that I wanted Mia to be, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because I think Jules would have been an excellent protagonist for the story. Even if we still went on the whole Mia journey, I still would have loved to like see a little bit more of Jules. And I think that's just because she, in my opinion, is more of a complex character. And I still stay by what I said, like, of Mia being more of a blank slate. But I do love a protagonist that's definitely a little bit more feisty. She's got some fire.
Oh.
She's got a little spice. I like her.
Yes.
I like her.
Mm-hmm.
The art for the stream is so good, Pete. You'll never believe. The art behind us is from the book. Holy crap! Yeah, so the art behind us is from the book, and then the panels in the upper corner there are all the panels of art that were our favorites. So I put all of our favorite panels up there. And yeah, that's where all the art is right now. So we're in space. We're in the timeline. Oh gosh, I forgot what I was gonna ask. Oh God. What? Sorry, my neighbor dog literally just started barking for no reason. It's really gotten me off track now. What did I just say? What did I just say?
You said you forgot what you were going to ask.
Thank you.
A question? A favor?
It was a question. Frick. Oh, shooty. Oh, shoot. Well, we'll just keep going, and then if I remember it, I remember. Oh my God. Speaking of characters in the book, there's no male characters in this book at all.
You know what's so funny is I was like fully on page like 400 before I realized that.
Really?
Yeah. But I was like, wait a second.
Interesting.
I think there's only women here, or there's only female bodies here. Crazy.
The Bechdel book. Yes. The Bechdel book.
It is the Bechdel book.
Yeah.
It passes the Bechdel test on every page.
Yeah.
I don't think the word man is even mentioned, but because there's still such a diversity in characters, you don't realize, you know?
Yeah. I agree. I didn't realize until I think it was when Grace's family said, they were like, "Oh, Grace has her first girlfriend." I was like, "What?" They all know. And then I was like, "Wait a sec."
And then, yeah, like
Wait
going
a
back,
moment.
I'm like, they're always just like, yeah, my mom's, and yeah, so-and-so's wife. It's just always a woman.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a utopia.
Maybe. I don't know. They tried to kill Elle. I don't know. I don't know if it's a utopia. No, that was bad. That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Well, utopias are bad.
So
Mm-hmm.
you never know. But then I am curious. I'm so curious. And what they've discovered in this space world, unless in this world there's like a different biological way of reproducing, or if this is the same world we live in, just in the future, and we've simply overcome that issue. It opens up so many questions.
That is interesting.
Or are they all? Do they just get plucked? They just get dropped off. They're like, this is the planet where the children spawn, and you just pick one up.
And I'm wondering,
like little cabbages.
Children shopping.
It's like Cabbage Patch Kids. This
One
came
from the mine.
Come on! Yes, the useful one.
This is Cabbage Patch Kids in space. They just grow on the farm. There's a planet.
Oh God. Well, I was, before the Cabbage Patch comment, I was gonna say that gender's pretty fluid, and maybe there's different. There might be intersex people. There's non-binary people. So, there might be. You never know. You never know. Private parts.
Know what's happening.
Private parts aren't my business. But I like the Cabbage Patch idea so much better. So I'm gonna go with that now.
On a Sunbeam, aka Cabbage Patch Kids in space.
Perfect. That actually sums up the entire book. So if you had just come in and you're like, wow, what's this book about? That's it. That's what the book's about. So okay, we just hit the 2-hour mark.
Woo!
Whoa. I know. Woo. Time flies when you're talking about maps. Is there any other thoughts, feelings? We pretty much hit almost all of my questions here. Any other thoughts, feelings, sentiments, feelings of hatred, wanting a map, anything?
I would have loved a map of the solar system.
Yeah.
Of this. That would have been great.
I actually am really happy that there wasn't, so.
If there's anything that this book is missing, it's a map. I think maybe if it had a map, I would give it, I would add a star.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kenzo, don't hug the map. Get it out of here. Get that out of here. Okay.
Oh man.
Actually, I will say though, it would be interesting to see the staircase like in full view. Speaking of that, I would love to see that. That would be so cool.
I would love a spin-off of the whole staircase planet story.
Yes. Like an L/Grace backstory.
Yes. I agree. Because
especially because Grace's family is supposedly like top honcho, I think that would be a really cool contrasting flip story of like seeing how Grace grew up and then seeing how Elle grew up as like kind of the like a regular person on the staircase versus Grace, who's like, my mom is in charge of everything. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And then also I thought it was really, because it was interesting. It was only one panel, but it was Grace and Elle, and they were talking, and she was asking them, like, did you tell them about the fox? And then they didn't say anything, and so she was like, okay, I'm not going to tell them. But it's like, she didn't say it's okay, or I don't worry about it, or it's like I still felt like there was some tenseness between them a little bit.
Yeah.
That's how I interpreted it, at least, like,
Yeah,
like,
it was a weird...
I can't unsee you as it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure a weird reunion.
Yeah.
The map does save Dora's ass every time.
Thank you for the hug, Purple. yeah, I definitely think if you're planning on reading this book, definitely go in with an expectation that it's definitely heavily art based. I think a lot of like our positive comments were mostly just about art, and I think there are some qualms with the story, and I think there's always room for improvement. But just take Cassidy and Ashley's words of wisdom into consideration if you are planning on reading this book. And if you vibe with the I don't know what the fuck's going on and I want a good time, then you'll love it.
Yeah.
If you vibe with that, if you vibe with I don't know what's going on, but I want cool space and cool pictures.
No.
Yes.
And
For sure.
gay
You want
love.
the aesthetic.
Yeah.
For
cool
sure,
aesthetic.
go to her. Go read it on her website for free if you're
Yeah.
not convinced. Because again, this is a heavy book.
Yeah.
It made my backpack quite heavy. But it's honestly not a huge time commitment. So
Mm-hmm.
No,
if you're curious, it'll take you a weekend.
Yeah,
If you're
Yeah.
committed,
Yeah.
especially if you're reading it online.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That goes for any of our books. Try and get them for free. Get them on Libby, if you can, or your library. Please don't feel like you guys have to buy all these
Or
fucking
like-
books.
Or like even with your Spotify subscription, for whoever has a Spotify subscription, you get a lot of audiobooks included
For
in there.
free. Yeah.
Mhm. Apple Music too. Apple Books. Apple Books has a lot of books for free. Check it.
Also support your local library. Go get a
Yes.
library card. Those
Yes.
are fun.
I have one. I love my library. So nice.
My library is very small.
We love a
that's
small
because
library.
That's because I'm in Podunk.
The country. You're in the
Well,
country.
I'm not in the country.
Oh.
Comparatively to Minneapolis, maybe.
Yeah, YouTube also has free audiobooks. Absolutely. Make sure you guys are checking all that. Speaking of, oh wait, before we go into next month,
Oh shit!
any other any other thoughts or feelings?
Oh, I
Should
did.
stall? Should I stall for a sec?
Yeah.
Okay,
you
okay.
can stop.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ashley.
I just wanted to say this because I prepared for this question that you asked
Oh,
earlier.
yeah.
Soundtrack for this book.
Oh my god, I forgot to ask that. Yeah, let's talk about that while Cassidy's looking.
I feel
What do
like
you mean?
Looking at nothing. Don't worry about it.
I'm not looking at anything.
Don't worry about it, actually.
I'm looking at a map.
Oh, yeah. I think it's so hard because I feel like space. I want to say, like, I feel like okay. Hold on. I like the Interstellar soundtrack, but I feel like that would be perfect for the whole staircase scenes, like the tense, like running, like we gotta get on the ship, we gotta go, like Interstellar through and through.
Ashley,
I think
you and I have the same brain. I
You were thinking the
literally
same thing?
was thinking, okay, so I was thinking for like the more chill things was like more lo-fi. We're actually listening to I actually listened to a playlist while I was reading this. And it was the playlist I was playing before stream, which was the lo-fi space beats. And it has
kind of music
like
that
and it has like the you know,
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That it's like space pop.
Yeah.
That's what this book is.
But I think the Interstellar would be, I agree with you, Ashley. The Interstellar would be perfect during the intense ones. The intense part at the end there. Actually,
Have you
perfect.
also-
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Have you guys also listened to Willow Smith's album Willow?
Yeah.
Is this
I
the
feel
one
like
that
that
you
too.
showed us in like college that connects all of it
Yes.
links together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's such a good album. Such a wonderful
It is a
album.
good album. But
I
I
was
feel like
literally
you
just talking about Willow Smith.
Oh really? Oh,
Yeah.
What
Go ahead.
about?
Wow.
Oh, well, I was talking about Willow Smith in a positive way on my charity stream.
Nice.
And I was talking about how I feel like only one of Willow's songs gets like blasts up, like everyone like I whip my hair back and forth.
Meet
Wait,
me
wait
at
a-
her spot.
Yeah, maybe I was
Out of
spot.
5. Yeah.
Perfect. Wait a minute. Like, but they're all not like, but you know how like in a lot of artists, especially right now, like for instance, Billie Eilish, like there's like 4 or 5 songs off of that album that's like top 10 right now. I feel like Willow only gets like 1 per each album.
Yeah,
And it makes me so sad because Willow is so talented. Anyway,
I know.
you were saying. I interrupted you.
No, I was just saying, I feel like for the parts where like Mia is being like angsty, edgy, like that would be a good playlist too. Like, where she's being sad is like that album, like any of those songs really, or like Free as a Bird. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I know.
But
What
I
I need to know,
what I'm talking about.
what the fuck is Cornfield Chase?
Cornfield Chase is the best freaking song in the Interstellar soundtrack.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh, is
Well,
that
I
the
did a
really
whole-
intense one?
So
Where
I
it's
used
like-
to have like this adaptive storytelling group that I did at work.
I'm playing.
Where I made like stories like a sensory experience, and we I forget which story I was telling. I think we were doing Baba Yaga, and the whole scene where Baba Yaga is chasing the children, I played Cornfield Chase from Interstellar as the background music.
Interesting.
I love that.
I'm listening to it right now.
It's like ideal movie soundtrack.
That
It's that that one. Oh my god. Yeah. Bom, 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 bom. I'll sing
Yeah.
it for everybody. Bom, 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 bom. It sounds exactly like it. Bom, bom, bom. That one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get it? Was that a perfect? Was that a perfect interpretation?
It sounds like the one I know. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I love that one. It's so good. It's the TikTok one. Yeah, that one's crazy on TikTok right now. Crazy on TikTok.
Crazy.
I actually don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'll keep it playing. Okay.
No, we can. I cannot hear.
No.
I think chat or your you guys can't hear?
They're
They're just
talking.
I don't know.
They're just
They're just
hear it in
vibing to
their
me.
heads.
They're vibing to me
Yeah.
singing it. That's what it is. I appreciate that. I appreciate that hype. Thank you. I don't want to keep going with that. So, Cass, did you pick a book for next month, friend?
Yes, just now I did.
Okay. What have we picked?
Just now.
What? Listen. So, fun fact about me is I'm extremely indecisive. And so I've had like a couple books pulled. Yeah. Kylie and Ashley can confirm because on a no, we weren't on FaceTime. I don't know. Yeah, we were on a FaceTime call a couple days ago. I read the description of like 8 books to them, and they were like, "Cool, yeah, whatever you want." And I was like, So anyway, I've made the decision, and we will be reading The Monsters of Templeton by Lauren Groff.
Woo!
Nice. Do you want to read the back of that book for us? Give us a little
I will read the
taste.
back of this book for you. I will also state that even though we just talked about accessibility of books, this is one that you'd likely want in print, first of all, because it has a map.
Oh my god! This is
Second of
actually
all-
a 1-star book for me already.
Second of all, because
Oh
it
my God.
includes some illustrations throughout. Kind of like if you read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, where it has like the historical photographs, this has that sprinkled throughout.
Oh, I love pictures. Not
Right,
maps,
so
but I love
Lauren-
pictures.
Yes. Lauren Groff is a wonderful fiction fantasy writer.
and very like about female empowerment in her storytelling. So this is The Monsters of Templeton. In the wake of a wildly disastrous affair with her married archaeology professor, Willie Upton arrives in the doorstep of her ancestral home in Storybrooke, Templeton, New York, looking to hide in the one place to which she swore she'd never come back. As soon as she arrives, though, a prehistoric monster surfaces in Lake Glimmerglass, changing the very fabric of the town. What's more, Willie's hippie-turned born-again Baptist mother, V, tells her secret she's been hiding for nearly 30 years, that Willie's father wasn't the random man from a free love commune that V had led her to believe, but someone else entirely, someone from this very town. As Willie puts her archaeological skills to work digging for the truth about her lineage, she discovers that the secrets of her family run deep when dark, mysterious mysteries come to light, and the shocking truth about more than one monster is revealed.
Wow, that's crazy.
Crazy.
And yes, Lauren Groff is just a fantastic writer, and everything she says is beautiful.
I'm
The
excited.
review, there's a review from Stephen King. Says this is her debut. This is Lauren Groff's debut novel, by the way. From many, hang on, I don't know when it was published, but she's written many a book since, and I would recommend, if you're into fantasy, I would recommend anything that Lauren Groff writes. Published in 2008. Her debut novel, it says, The Monsters of Templeton is everything a reader would have expected from this gifted writer, and more. There are monsters, murders, bastards, and ne'er-do-wells, almost without number. I was sorry to see the rich and wonderful novel come to an end. Stephen King said that. The King seal of approval.
Yeah.
Mm.
I feel like that's really saying something.
That's really saying something.
Okay, you know what?
No, I'm excited for this one. I think it'll be a fun read.
This has such a long thing. I'm gonna have to. So normally in the book club command, I add the what it's about, but it's so long that I'm gonna have to paraphrase and figure that out. I was like, oh, only half of that? Only half of that? Okay, all right. Yeah, so I'm very excited. That sounds like such a great pick, Cass. Whoop whoop. That's our pick for August. So towards the end of August, I don't know when that will be. We'll have to confer and discuss. But at the end of August, we'll be reading that book, The Monsters of Templeton. There we go. I said it right. So if you would like to be a part of next month's book club, that is what we'll be reading. I'm very excited. It sounds really good. This was one of the ones that Cass read that I was very hoping that she would pick. It's very good. Besides the BAP, but I'll forgive this one time.
I think you will come around.
I probably will. Maybe I'll become a map lover. Map lover?
I'm here for this enemies to lover trope between you and Matt.
Perfect. Okay. So, any last words before we end book club for today?
Any last words?
What?
So this is Ashley and I's last book club. Unfortunately, Kylie will be sacrificing us to the map gods. It's been a really great run. Yeah, what can I say? This has been the time of my life.
Well, it's good to have you on for the last time, friend. I have to find new co-hosts.
Glad to be here.
Any last words for your untimely death? Exactly. Map book club starts next week. Get that out of here. Okay, so I think we are gonna play some games. Yeah, we're playing Overcooked 2.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so we're gonna swap gears. Thank you everyone for coming to book club. We really appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you, Jen, for the raid. Thanks to everyone who read the book, who gave their opinions, thoughts, concerns, hatred, love for the book. We appreciate it. We love chatting with you guys and hanging out. We are going to take about a 5 to 10 minute break. Just so we can pee and stretch and get something to drink and set up the games. And then we'll be back. Okay. Goodbye. See you in just a second. Goodbye. Oh, hold on. No, now, you can